Okay, now we're recording sound and I can see the sound happening. So, take 2! Hello and welcome to another Q&A video. I'm sorry that there wasn't a video last week. There was stuff that came up with the holidays, but I'm back now, so let's get right to it. Kelsey Briggs asks, how do your furry children like RiffRaff? I have 4 pets, 2 dogs, Lincoln, the Finnish Lapland, and Tamaki, the German Shepherd, Rengar, who is a gray tabby, and Airy, who is a black cat. And they, for the most part, are pretty chill. Lincoln loves me to death, and so he will do anything for me, but he's kind of cautious around the big weird head. Tamaki just wants to lick everything. He just wants to know what everything in the world tastes like, including RiffRaff. Rengar is chill. Rengar was in the Christmas video. He just jumped right up on the table while I was filming because he doesn't care. He just wants pets. He's like, hey, there used to be cookies on this table. What's going on? Airy is not so much of a fan of RiffRaff or of any living beings. She really wanted to be an only pet, and she was our first pet, and we got a lot of more pets after that. And she's fine with them, but she tends to run away from new and exciting stimulus, RiffRaff included. Holly Fitzgerald asks, what is your favorite part of becoming RiffRaff? And for me, it's not about me and about how I'm feeling, it's all about you guys. So whenever I'm making a video or when I was acting at the convention, I was reacting to what people were putting in. And so my favorite thing is just seeing how people react to her and getting them to play with her. So yeah, it's a lot of fun to get people to just, like, accept that there's a weird bat lemur creature in the room with them and seeing them get to play with it. Tron Dong Viet says, what is the idea behind RiffRaff? Also, hi from Vietnam. Hello! Welcome to the group! That's super cool. You must have found me through the Dutchy group because there's no way you found Nebraska. Just on a search otherwise. So I didn't create her physical characteristics, but I did create her personality. Her physical, like her colors and all of that, was created by Kemono Creations, which was the person who made the pre-made fursuit that I have. All of the characteristics behind her, I made with that fursuit in mind. I wanted her to be a curious character because I think it's a lot more fun when you have fursuiters who, like, don't understand how the world works and are looking at this, what is chair? What does chair do? How does this happen? I think that's a super fun way to act, and then it invites people to correct you, which gets them to, like, kind of enter the scene with you. So I wanted her to be curious. I decided I wanted her to be young, because I personally joined the Dutchy fandom not at the very beginning. Like, I remember years ago it used to be a closed species, and I joined the fandom, like, well after that. So I wanted her to be just as naive of things that may have happened in the past, because I think that fits in with me personally. Curious and young were basically what I went with, and everything that I've created since then. I'm still playing with it. I've been doing, with the Christmas videos, I did more kind of anthro style because she was using her hands and, like, trying to decorate a tree. And that is partially because she has a partial fursuit. I am looking to make a full suit for her. So that will be super exciting. You can expect to see some updates on that sometime. What are your best and worst experiences fursuiting? So best experience for me was being recognized at Anime Nebraskon. And let's see if I can find this guy's name. Shout out to Mini Shironeko, because you rock, and you absolutely made my con, day one. Mini Shironeko came up to me at the Furries panel that was on Friday night, and said, "Hey, I recognize you. You're the one from YouTube, right?" And that was an insane phrase to hear said out. I mean, we're not into triple-digit viewers yet. But I had, tried to introduce myself to people in Nebraska. It was just so unexpected. He happened to have seen my packing video that I did before going to Nebraskon and recognized me from it and asked to get a picture taken with me, and I was just over the moon. I was insane. It felt amazing. So I totally get now why people like Sam make characters of Pokemon and recognizable characters, because it's so cool to have people like recognize who you are. My worst experience at con was after the Nebraska photo shoot. Everyone was, tired and hot. We had all been sitting around in suit for a while. And so I went out to cool off because the ventilation in my suit is not the best. It's just the mouth is like really closed, and in order to open it, I actually had to put some like black chopsticks like in the jaw to get it to open up. And I'm working on it still, but it's difficult for me to breathe in it for extended periods of time. So every like 15 to 20 minutes, I have to pop the top. So I went outside, I took off my head, I cooled off, and I went back in to go chat with people, and no one was there. And I mean, it was a pretty quick turnaround. I just went and stepped out, took it off, had a drink of water, came back in. I was so bummed because in my mind, the whole like weekend was built around this furry photo shoot. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to go and be in the picture, and then I'll get to talk to people and it'll be awesome. And it was like a ghost town. I mean, everyone must have just gone different directions and found, gone back to their hotel room to take off their suit or something. So my handler and I kicked around the hotel for a little bit after that, and then eventually we're like, well, we can't find anyone else, and I had been suiting for a couple hours before that. And so we decided to take my suit back to our hotel across the street, and we got dinner. And I was feeling really low. I mean, like, the whole reason I wanted to get a fursuit and to get to this convention was to meet more of you. And when I couldn't find them, I was, like, super sad. But then the next day, on Sunday, I was going around suiting, and I found Candy Corn Rat and Minty Yeen. And right away, I was like, I have to get your guys' Instagram information because I couldn't find any other furries, and I want to talk to you outside of just the con. So I literally, like, passing them in the hallway, I, like, waved them to the side and, like, popped off my head, and I'm like, we have to get, let's swap so that we can chat to each other later. So in a way, my worst experience ended up leading to a good experience and reminding me that I need to be proactive about being at a con. Like, I need to be proactive about making friends. I can't just expect people to be around. And so that was a good lesson, I think. All right, next questions are from the Dutch Angel Dragon community on Facebook. Big shout out to you guys. You've just been so welcoming and supportive, and I've really loved being a part of the group. Keep doing it. You guys are great. Jay the Dutchy asks, what does RiffRaff hoard? And if you saw the Christmas video, you might have a hint that there's just, nothing in particular, just maybe possibly string, like all of the string. Steph Lamb asks, what inspired you to create RiffRaff? And I kind of touched on that. Really just making a character that was both entertaining to perform and entertaining to watch, I guess, from your guys' perspective. I just wanted her to be fun and not serious, and I don't have any kind of a dark background for her or anything. I just wanted her to be super lighthearted and happy and fun to play with. Ash Kai has a multi-parter. So, how did you find the furry fandom and Dutch Angel Dragons? What is your favorite part of the fandoms, and what is your favorite part of portraying RiffRaff? I found the furry fandom through Pokemon fan art. So, I've always been a big fan of the series, and I was in middle school or high school and just searching pictures, probably of Growlithe. I mean, why wouldn't you? He's such a cutie. I was searching pictures and I found that some of the art was in a similar style, and it was because it was made by the same artist. And all of the art was pointing me to this website called DeviantArt. After I was on DeviantArt for a while, I found people had their own Pokemon Pokesonas, and from there I found Fursonas and other furry artists, and just lurked in the fandom for the next, 10 years until I decided to get more involved in it last September. How I found the Dutch Angel Dragons was through telephone. I don't even know why I was searching it or how I found it, but I saw the video of telephone stuffing a dollar bill into a 5-gallon bucket. There was a hole in the top. It was for a charity, some con that she was at. And it was adorable. And I showed that video to everyone because it was the cutest thing. And I loved the interaction she had with the crowd. My favorite part of the furry fandom is that it's this big, supportive community of creators. It would be so easy for artists to be like, this dog actually looks like a cat, or all of your anatomy is wrong, or this perspective doesn't make sense. But instead, there are tons of free tutorials for how to draw canine forelimbs, and, how to make better poses, and how to choose, color palettes, and how to design characters, and all of this stuff out there. It's really cool that there's so many free resources to encourage people to keep creating. My favorite part of the Dutch Angel Dragon community is the Archangels. The Dutch Angel Dragon community, it's a small slice of the furry pie, but at the same time, it's thousands of members strong on the Facebook group. The fact that the Archangels can, within a few hours, get to your questions and talk to you about any design questions you have about, does my design agree with the qualifications for being a Dutch Angel Dragon? It's so super. They do that out of the kindness of their hearts. They're all just volunteers who love the community and love the species and everything that people have created around it. A community is only as good as its moderators are, seriously. So huge shout out to them. The fandom would not be what it is without the Archangels, and obviously Eno. What is your favorite part of portraying RiffRaff? My favorite part of portraying RiffRaff is taking someone from a place that they're hesitant to interact with RiffRaff to a place where they're enjoying it. So I was at Anime Nebraskon, and there was a line of people to get into a panel. Super common, so most people were sitting down, and I was just going from person to person down the line, kind of trying to see who wanted to interact. I really recommend that method to new people who are new to suiting, because it was a good way for me to just kind of work my way through the line and engage with a bunch of different people who were already kind of bored and looking for something to do. And if you hit a huge stretch of 50 people that didn't even want to look at you, that's fine, because there's 50 more down the line. There were these two girls that I came up to. I have no idea what they were doing prior to me being there, because if it's not here in my vision as RiffRaff, it might as well be happening on the moon. I came up to these girls, and they looked at me just blank stare, what is happening right now? Is the look I was getting. Instead of interacting with them with my huge fursuit eyes, Jiro, I decided to interact with one of their objects, which is another great way. Keep your eyes, your big dead eyes, from being focused on someone. Interact with their stuff, because you can get away with a lot as a fursuiter. So they had some kind of stuffed animal or something. We'll have a stand-in here. And as RiffRaff, I was looking at it and I went to go like sniff at the thing and like be scared of it, and I went to touch it and I got scared and I ran and I hid behind my handler, and they laughed and they were like, no, it's okay, here, you can touch it. And I came back and I just touched it on the nose or whatever, and then I spun around and did my little happy dance. And they laughed, and it was a great time, and I went to go move on to the next group of people. My handler tapped my shoulder, and he's like, hey, these girls want to get a picture with you. And that was so cool for me, because I took them from a place where they were a little unsure of how to handle the big, weird, fluffy creature in front of them, to a point where they actively wanted like a memory. They wanted a photo with this so they could tell their friends, hey, we saw this weird giant stuffed animal that was scared of my stuffed animal at the convention, and it was hilarious. And that was super cool, to take them from that point to a point where they had a positive interaction. All right, thank you so much to everybody who sent in questions. If I didn't get to yours, I apologize. I think I hit most of them, but I will do more Q&A videos because they are so easy effort for me. They basically just count on you. And on that note, I have been lazy, and I owe you guys some better content. So look next week for a skit video or something a little bit different. So, but it will be RiffRaff. It will not be Emolga and I promise. So, all right, you guys have a good day. Bye. We have an interloper. Would you like to tell the nice people anything? Meow. Hello? Mister? He's not having it. You are so staticky. You're like made of thunder. Go.